Hey guys, welcome back to the Rabbit Chums. Well, I got to get two cybers here. I'm gonna talk a little bit about dedicated LED versus a RGB LED, which is a very interesting topic, I think. So we got two fantastic sabers here, my Dart Alice Slim Coda version 5 and the Saber Trio Skylar. And the interesting is this Skylar rocks the RGB LED. This Dart Alice rocks a Tricree LED. Both are having a Tricree LED. Just means three LED dots on a little LED star. The difference is this is a dedicated red blue LED, and this is a Tricree, so one blue, one red, one green LED. And there's a quite significant difference between the two. So having two red dies on the Slim Coda versus one red die on the Saber Trio, it's making a big difference in brightness for the red color. So if you are keen on having the brightest options with a Tricree LED, and that is either for the regular blue, regular green, or regular red, then I recommend something like this, a dedicated red or green or blue LED, because it's always brighter than having only one LED on a Tricree in, for example, red, green, or blue. It just adds up. That extra LED actually makes the difference in this case. It's also to be said if you look at the Quad-Cree LED, for example, Saberforce uses Quad-Cree LEDs, between a dedicated Tricree, for example red, or against a Quad-Cree or 4 dies of LEDs on a Quad-Cree LED from Saberforce, there is not much difference in brightness. But in this case, because it's one LED for RGB, in this case red, versus 2 on a dedicated Tricree LED, it actually makes quite a difference. And that being said, then you can also look at what is more important for you. Do you want to have a whole array of different colors, different shade of colors? For example, mint green, purple, orange, yellows, whatnot, white. Because if you set RGB to on every LED, so you put the LED on green on, blue on, red on, that makes for white actually. So is that what you want, or do you want something dedicated? You have limited options. For example, this has the red LED, and then it also has blue for flash and class, but together red and blue make for purple. So I have red, I have blue, and I have purple. There's some trade-offs because I don't have green. I cannot make mint green. I cannot make a yellow. I cannot make a amber. I can make a whole bunch of shades I cannot make. But if to me red is most important, it has to be the brightest, I rather have a dedicated LED. In fact, I always will pick a dedicated LED over a RGB LED whenever I need to pick a dedicated red, a dedicated blue, a regular blue, or a dedicated regular green. Then I will always pick the dedicated LED over an RGB LED, because as I said, one LED die versus 2, it makes a difference in brightness. It does. Plus, if I, for example, this is a sit saber for me, so I don't need to have different green on it, etc. So I don't really need RGB on it, so that's why I picked the dedicated color. I can still make purple, which is equally bright because it's two mixed dyes, two mixed LEDs, one blue, one red, make up for one very bright purple. So it's still very bright, same as an RGB. Because that very same purple I can also make on this lightsaber, and then it's equally bright. So it's a little bit confusing, but if you mix a off color or shade of color that uses 2 LEDs on the RGB, it is as bright as the dedicated LED that uses 2 of the same color, for example. So I personally would say for purples, mint greens, oranges, RGB are fine. For example, my Vader's Vault Mitsurugi 3K has one blue dye, one green dye, make up for this beautiful light blue. I can make that same light blue on this RGB lightsaber. So I can have that exact same color, exact same brightness. But because that's a mixture of 2 colors. But if I want to have that dedicated green or that dedicated red or blue, it wouldn't be as bright with an RGB as it would be on a dedicated LED that has been set exactly for those colors. So 2 reds, 2 blue, or 2 green dyes, LEDs. But then again, if you say I love my blue lightsabers, but I don't like the royal or slash regular blue, it's too dark for me, I don't like the blue, that blue color, I want to have that icy blue, then an RGB option would be the best. Now in case of my Vader's Vault, that means I need to pay $100 more for having a full RGB option. I didn't want to pay for that, so I got the Sun Crusher version, which is just 1 blue, 1 green dye and 1 white dye for Flash and Clash. So I can still mix colors. For example, I can put my LED to 1 green LED or 1 blue LED, and it's the same as on this RGB saber. If I put the color onto the single blue, single green LED, it's the same brightness. I only miss on my Mitsurugi Tricree, I miss the red dye, which is on the RGB LED. So then I miss a whole array of color mixing, because Vader's Vault give me a white for Flash and Clash instead of a red. So I don't really have full RGB. So that's it's a little bit how it works with color mixing. I always recommend, if you are a sit guy or girl and you want to have a dedicated red color or a dedicated green color or blue color, go for an LED setup that has either 2 of the same color, red, green or blue, and then 1 color off color, so you can still do color mixing, and I call that poor man's RGB. So this one has a poor man's RGB because of that blue LED for Flash and Clash. I can still make a purple blade, I can make a blue blade, which is 1 dye of course, so it wouldn't be as bright of a blue, but then again, I'm fine with that. It's a poor man's RGB. You don't have the full scale of color mixing of RGB, but the red or the green or the blue, if that matters to you, is brighter than in the case with an RGB. And again, if that doesn't matter to you, you're more of a purple guy or icy blue guy, or a girl that loves orange or yellows, then go for an RGB LED, because those are color mixed colors, so then you already have that. And then again, there's also people that argue I'd rather have 2 yellow dyes and then 1 other color for Flash and Clash, let's say a blue, green or red as the Flash and Clash color, so you have the poor man's RGB that you can set up. Now I know it's super confusing, I will make more videos over time, but hopefully that gives you a little bit more insight what type of LED to choose in what case if you go for a Tricree LED, which is a Tricree is 1, 2, 3 dots of LEDs, which is most common by most saber companies. And then you have to think about Vader's Vault and Saber Trio. Ultra Sabers have those options. So hopefully that gave you a little bit more insight. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye bye.